Wait, remember The Secret Show? Well, you shouldn't. It's a secret. Thanks for watching. Oh, fine. If you really want to know, let's talk about it. The Secret Show was originally a British animated show for the CBBC, but where I know this show from, and maybe some of you out there as well, is from Nickelodeon's sister channel, Nicktoons Network. I must admit, this is a show that I have only had a small remembrance of, catching a few episodes here and there, but something I never forgot was the unique car insurance-esque animation look. I mean that in the best way possible, though. So it was finally time for me to sit down and check out what The Secret Show was all about. If you enjoy this video, you better subscribe. Let's take a sneaky little look into The Secret Show.
Run! The Secret Show!
Welcome back to the 25 Days of Fringe-Miss, where there's going to be brand new videos every single day from December 1st to December 25th. Hop aboard. The Secret Show revolves around two spies, Anita Knight and Victor Volt, who are both secret agents working for the UZZ, or UZZ. Anita Knight, voiced by Kate Harbour, is the smarter, more focused one here who isn't scared of the tasks ahead, nor worried about the conflicts as she can handle her own in a fight. She makes sure to think things out before executing a plan, but can improvise pretty well in a tight situation. Her partner, on the other hand, Victor Volt, voiced by Alan Marriott, serves a more juvenile in mind role, focusing more on being or trying to be suave, but he's still one of the best agents working. His actions, though, usually lead to a lot of the main issues, situations, and conflicts we see in the show. On accident, of course, but still, it's usually his fault. But despite all that, still can end up helping save the day, so, you know, it all equals out. These two have a pretty good relationship working with each other throughout the series. While they still have their moments of bickering and getting on each other's nerves, usually Victor getting on Anita's nerves, they do it in a more of a best friends way, where when they need to work together, save one another, or wash their hands clean from the job they finished, they are really good to each other. Victor got his start in the agent world when he was recruited into it while attending a comic book convention, applying a lot of his love for comics into his knowledge and techniques in being an agent. And throughout the series, we actually get to learn a lot about his past, and how it kind of ties in more to the secret agent world. Anita, well, she's pretty gifted at a lot of things, being recruited at the Olympics where she was competing as a gymnast, performing martial arts, snowboarding, and more, being extremely gifted in weaponry. The UZZ is led by Change Daily. His true name is a secret, so as far as you know, it can change daily. I see what they did there. He was voiced by Keith Wickham. He's got a killer mustache and takes pride in his appearance and attitude towards others, garnering the respect of everyone underneath him as he commands their orders. His daily name change is something that becomes a running gag every time he has to tell the others what to address him by, saying something embarrassing that he is not too thrilled with, but goes along with it as the others around him get the enjoyment of hearing it. But what's a spy show without a gadgets expert who is able to create weapons, vehicles, and an array of cool and untested inventions that usually have a few faults? Enter Professor, voiced by Rob Rackstraw. He has this childlike wonder when it comes to his work, and for someone who is supposed to be fairly old, it's good to see him have this young at heart feeling. Did I mention he's kinda crazy?
Whew. We know that The Secret Show will be right back. We have no idea where The Secret Show's been, but it's back.
The Secret Show was created by Tony Collingwood and would premiere on September 16, 2006 in the UK, with the US release being syndicated to Nicktoons Network on January 20th, 2007. What I really like about this show is that at its core, it feels simple. It doesn't need too much more setup that explains what is happening. We follow the secret organization, the UZZ, as agents go on missions, and how the rest of the major players in the show operate their day-to-day. It plays out more so as a comedy, poking fun at the more serious tropes in spy and secret agent media, but doesn't hesitate to still give you some fun action. In fact, the show in itself plays into the secret nature of the secret agent world from the jump, as when an episode of the show starts, it hides under the veil of the Fluffy Bunny Show. It's this nice little cute show about a granny who's just rocking back and forth in a rocking chair, strumming on a banjo with some bunnies just hanging around her. But then mayhem starts all around her as the agents roll in and start changing the the show over to The Secret Show. It's pretty clever and a fun way to open the show. A major highlight for The Secret Show truly comes from the villains and evildoers that we meet. Their main source of problems comes from them, or the horrible evil menace. Yeah, that fits. The leader of this evil organization is Dr. Doctor, also voiced by Kate Harbour, who is just as weird and crazy as Professor, as they were classmates together a long time ago. Whereas Professor went to use his zaniness for good, Dr. Doctor joined the side of evil, usually with her main goal to take over the world and rid it of the UZZ. Your typical bad guy stuff right there, you know? A lot of the other villains in the show can consist of aliens, clowns, and it somehow ends up in just becoming a lot more of a wacky show by the end of these 11-minute segments. The stories play out with simple beginnings, but by the end, turn into this whole adventure where the bad guy's plan is something pretty random and more in favor of the more major ramifications of their actions. By that I mean something as silly as aliens taking the gravity from Earth because they're jealous of what gravity is, just so they can have a falling down party, because they can't really experience that. And you mix that up with some secret agents trying to foil their plans or fix the problem that was caused. Also in the mix of everything is Special Agent Ray, voiced by Martin Hyder. He usually plays third string, being a lot more serious and helps our two main secret agents if the occasion calls for it, but really, for me, serves as the person who ruins the Fluffy Bunny show at the beginning just to get the secret show started. I just like his character being this ultra serious person for the most part, as the world around him is anything but that. I think that at first when it came to the art style, I wasn't too in love with it. It really reminded me of cheaper looking animation found in corporate or insurance based commercials. So much so that it really put me off from wanting to give this show a full proper chance. But after a bit, the art style really grew on me. While I still don't love it, I do think it ends up fitting the world and the vibe of the show that it gives off. It feels pointy and flat, a bit like there's no depth to it at all, but I still ended up liking its abstract nature for the mixing of colors that pop and the flair it has during the action. The show received more middling reviews, skewed a bit more positive though, but the show itself was never shown or up there with the ranks of those smash hit cartoons of the time. It truly did feel like a secret little show. So what actually happened to it? Lasting for 52 episodes, 2 seasons overall, nothing truly indicates that the show was cancelled, but rather just came to its eventual end. The show was funded by BBC Worldwide for their BBC Children's and Education division focusing on media for kids in the UK. BBC Worldwide funded Collingwood & Co., the name sounds familiar since I mentioned Tony Collingwood, the creator of the show, as Collingwood & Co. is a London-based TV animation studio that has a long list of shows that are made for broadcast, with The Secret Show being one of them. From there, through syndication deals, The Secret Show would go from this UK-based series and get a lot more exposure around the world, with of course Nicktoons Network in the US, as well as Jetix in Latin America, and the Disney Channel in Germany, among many others. It would end up getting some decent praise and win 2 BAFTA awards, one being for Best Animated Show and the other for its interactive website, a website in which there is a dedicated group of fans helping keep track of any lost media from it and trying to preserve whatever was left to preserve as it went down in the early 2010s.
Next time, I choose the hiding place.
Okay.
The Secret Show is coming up next. Shh, there are more secrets to come.
So it is nice to see that there is still a fan base out there and there is lost media that they are trying to find to save. The Secret Show, for its time, was a pretty cool little show. It took the spy and secret agent genre and played around with how absurd their plots could get, mainly focusing on just giving you a fun time while watching. It's unpredictable at times where the episode starts and where it ends, but it never feels done for the sake of being random, but rather just taking ideas and turning them up to the max gradually throughout the episode. On top of that, each episode does feel pretty unique from the last, giving an incredible variety of missions and funny moments that result from them making the 52 episodes a pretty easy and charming ride. The characters are fun, the plots are wild, and how can you ever get sick of the tried and true gags within each episode? While the art style of the show may not be for everyone, it does add to the tone of the show, combining a lot of the good old British humor to create something that at least stands out from the rest of the shows around it. For me, seeing it on Nicktoons Network, it did stand out. It looked different and it played out different than all of the other programs that I would watch. This was something great about Nicktoons Network. They always had a real nice lineup of smaller cartoons that would never get the time of day on the main channel, as well as for the most part a lot of them being syndicated for the network specifically, but at least the animation styles and tones of all these shows feel like a showcase of some pretty cool ideas, The Secret Show not being an exception to that. I am glad that I did give the show a full chance to present what it was all about to me, but I think looking at this through the lens of a younger me, I probably still wouldn't have been able to get into it back then. As an adult, I do feel that it hits better at the jokes and situations. The way it handles delivering jokes and parodies of the things that I love a lot more now as an adult, from stuff like James Bond and Get Smart. So I feel more enjoyment being a fan of what this show is directly pulling inspiration from now, rather than how I would have seen it back then. I'd recommend giving this show a try. Like I said, it has charm to it. It's not the best show or something I think would blow you away, but it did bring me a lot of moments that I truly wasn't expecting, with some action, comedy, and secret agent stuff all mixed together in here. Have you seen The Secret Show? If so, let me know your thoughts on it in the comments below. I'm pretty curious on this one. Thanks so much for watching. Like and subscribe. Later.